Dublin are pleased to welcome back Bernard Brogan following his injury problems. When the teams last met, he scored 110 and gave a stunning performance. Jason Whelan, who came on in Ballybuffet last week, gets his first Alliance League start here, playing just behind Paul Mannion, whose last-minute point earned Jim Gavin's team a draw. For Mayo's third league semi-final in the past 4 years, there's a start at left corner back for Chris Barrett. He came on late in Cork last week. Jason Doherty is fit to start this week at full forward with the Young Footballer of the Year, Cillian O'Connor on one side and Mickey Conroy, who's recovered from a dead leg, on the other. James Horan happy to have his team back in Croke Park once again, taking on the Dubs. Good experience for them. Paddy Andrews once again here now, ready to take on Chris Barrett. Andrews is having a great season. Onto the left and kicked just centimetres to the right of that post. So 3 wides now for Dublin. Conroy comes towards him, he bypasses him and gives it instead to Jason Doherty, running into a couple of Dublin challenges. Back it comes here towards Cathal Carolan, and Carolan kicks a beauty. Second point of the match. First was from a free by Cillian O'Connor. This one from play has come after 6 minutes. Mayo doing the scoring. Dublin have had their attacks, but haven't been able to successfully convert. It hasn't been a very bright start for the Dubs. Yet to score after 7 minutes. Colin Boyle picking out Cillian O'Connor. 1 point from a free already. Here's a chance. He carried it, and in the end Mickey Conroy has put this one wide, and that's a real waste. Just don't know why Cillian O'Connor didn't hit it over the bar. It was there for the taking. Up against Kevin Kane, he's got a slight height advantage. He's got a speed advantage as well. He's flying, he's buried it. First goal in the Alliance League for Paul Mannion. And it comes after 13 minutes. Well, he was allowed to get inside by Kevin Kane, who was powerless to stop him. Connolly stepping back out from the 13-metre line to make an angle and putting it beautifully over. It's up with Bernard Brogan, hasn't had a touch so far, that's the first. Into Paul Flynn, laying it off towards... Oh, Jason Whelan! He's delighted with that. Well, he might be. Bernard Brogan across here. The pass to Jason Whelan, and he fairly well belted it past David Clark. Ger Brennan slips it in as far as Darren Daly. Meant to be left corner back, forget about that. He's a scorer. It's his first point of the match, a second point in this year's Alliance League, and he's made it 2-2 to 3 points. Well, he must be very, very satisfied with the opening they have made here. Missed a couple of early chances, but they've settled to the task well. Oh, they're just winning everything from these kickouts. They need to vary it, I would think, Mayo. Instead, it's McCaffrey laying siege. Mannion again. Will he get a second? Well blocked by Clark. Reminiscent of what he did last year down at the other end when he blocked from Bernard Brogan. That was a really good goal attempt and a really fine piece of goalkeeping. David Clark was determined he was not going to be beaten for the 3rd time inside the opening 20 minutes. Mayo now open it out towards Mickey Conroy. They need a score. Mickey Conroy watches this one drop in over the bar. Inside towards Mannion, who's tormenting that Mayo defence. Right now, Chris Barrett's gone across to him. Change in the marking arrangement, not surprised about that. Threaded thoughtfully in here towards Bernard Brogan, and Brogan turns around and shows lovely style. That's a polished finish by Bernard Brogan, down towards Mickey Conroy, and he does well, reached out for it ahead of Cooper. Back in towards Keegan. Mayo needs something here, but that was one occasion when Keegan simply couldn't get enough power behind the final shot. Easy for Dublin to get it back up again. Darren Daly. Here's Connolly. Going this way, then that, then back out to the left again, leaving Gibbons for dead. Striking it magnificently. One of the best points of the match so far, and 3 so far for Diarmuid Connolly. to Jason Gibbons, and back as far as Kevin McLaughlin. Diagonally across. Oh, it just got over the head of Kevin O'Brien. In as far as Cillian O'Connor. They could use a goal here, Mayo. In as far as Jason Doherty, surrounded by Dublin players. Back out again as far as Mickey Conroy. A point will have to do. There was just an opening there for a moment for Mayo, but Dublin did so well. Regrouped, got things together, and shut out and blocked out any goal threat. There's been one change, and that's Richie Feeney has come on in place of Jason Doherty. Cian O'Sullivan in as far as Philly McMahon. Hit it very long. Collected by Paddy Andrews, trying to steal a march on Kevin Kane, and Kevin Kane blocks it down well. That was good. Back out it comes to Bernard Brogan, and Bernard Brogan knocks it over the bar. Well, now he's looking for a bit of urgency, a bit of spirit, and he's getting that, getting a reaction. Aidan O'Shea. Will this go over? It does, and it lifts the crowd. Back once again. Brennan motoring, driving it in here cleverly, and it was Darren Daly who was approaching. It's gone wide. Punched into open space. Cillian O'Connor comes racing away for it. He was shouldered by Flynn. He withstood that, and now he sets off. He's got Donald Vaughan in front of him, and Donald Vaughan here, but Cluxton denied them, and now the backs can help it out. Diarmuid Connolly. In it goes here as far as Paddy Andrews. Released here as far as Bernard Brogan with the left this time, and a wonderfully true kick. 4 points in this match by Bernard Brogan. Nicely down as far as Michael Conroy, and Mickey takes off once again past Johnny Cooper. Johnny Cooper then gets back. Conroy again from a very, very tricky angle. He's played corner, he's played full, he's been the scorer. This is on as far as Brian Cullen. It's swift, it's decisive, and it's finally Mannion. A wonderful return to go with the 6 points he scored last week in Ballybofey. Surely we are seeing the emergence of a new young star here. Here's Michael Dara McCauley. Lovely dart, lovely jink, great solo, promising, hand passed, stopped well. David Clarke again foils Bernard Brogan. Well, David Clarke made the save there from Bernard Brogan. He didn't play in goal, Clarke, when they met in the league last. It was Kenneth O'Malley then, but he's back, and the captain does well. Mickey Conroy here. Held on to, then transferred as far as Cillian O'Connor. There's a Dublin player on the ground as that ball is kicked in, and it's put beautifully over. And the booing is by the Dublin fans who feel there should have been a free kick. But play continued as there's a Dublin player being attended to. And the referee now, Joe McQuillan. Oh, that was a fist which was straight to the face of Johnny Cooper as I saw it. And now the referee goes back and gives a yellow card to Cillian O'Connor. The point has already been scored, and if it were a tighter, closer match, I think there might be ructions about that. There's a point for the taking. They're going for a goal, however. McLaughlin down he goes. Back out once more. And eventually it was Cluxton who denies Cillian O'Connor. So a job well done so far for Jim Gavin. Looking to head for the final. Looking at Paddy Andrews, again the provider for Bernard Brogan. Back into Andrews. Stopped. Still won't go in for Andrews, and comes out towards Cafferty, but stolen by Paul Mannion. Hit back out here again. McMenamin puts the left boot to it and puts it wide. And Dublin have now made a big leap, and they're back in the Alliance League final for the first time since 2011. It finishes at Croke Park. Dublin 216, Mayo 16 points.
I suppose I'd say there was probably 12, 13 good goal chances, maybe 6 or 7 on each side. Dublin took 2 of theirs, and we tried our best to miss our one. So yeah, that was the difference in the end. But you know, Dublin were strong today. They had a full team out. They have a full team to pick from. They were running strong, as they have been all league. So they were deserved winners today.
To beat a quality side like Mayo, yeah, it was a good result in the end. You know, very competitive game, and both halves were hotly contested, but we probably did enough to come out in the far side of it.
Yeah, a great start by Dublin, and their excellent league campaign goes all the way to this year's final. Pat Spillane was watching that match this afternoon. Pat, you know, looking at it, you felt that Dublin did have the measure of this game most of the way through.
It was an unusual start of the game because for the first 13 minutes, Mayo outscored them 3-0, and Dublin were casual, kicked a couple of balls into the goalie's hand, kicked a few wide, and they played like a team that were raging hot favourites and expecting to win. And then from the 13th to the 33rd minute, they outscored Mayo 2-9 to 3 points. In that 20 minutes, they put the game to bed. The second half was a formality. Credit to Mayo, they showed great spirit. They outscored Mayo in the second half. When Aidan O'Shea came to midfield with his brother, it made a big improvement. And you know, Ger Cafferty having had a nightmare against Bernard Brogan in the league, he had a reasonably good game on him today. But Dublin in that 20 minutes were very impressive. I mean, there's no doubt about it, Michael. They have been by far the most impressive team in this year's league. They're playing with pace. The young lads, Paul Mannion, young Whelan today, Jack McCaffrey,
They're finding these lads and bringing them in from last year as well.
I mean, they are, and what has been very useful for him during the league is that he's been winning the matches fairly handy. He's used over 35 players. Yeah. Do you know, today again...
To a completely revamped defence, while Ronan McNamee replaces the injured Joe McMahon, Martin Penrose is selected at top of the right. Kieran McGeeney makes 6 changes to the Kildare side, beaten in Down a week ago. Mark Donnellan returns in goal, and his fellow under-21 stars Daniel Flynn and Niall Kelly come back into the half-forward line. Sean Hurley, Emmett Bolton and Paddy Brophy are also late additions to the starting lineup. Tyrone in their changed red strip today. That's well gathered.
Conley, Justin Gort to Conor Gormley, agus Sheer Rishwa, Peter Hartenish. Oh, Kildare agus O'Foric O'Neill. Mark Donnelly. Stop Corhele Shoot. Agus mar chimid ná din Mr. Root mas tímh dul le Dang Bhailin. Ben mi haimi de géisteacht Twitter agus Facebook. Agus mé árá son ó Illan Feargéir agus leisin na sóg Stephen O'Neill leis an chéad pointin of the heroine.
Loch sin ar aus ar fad ó Stephen O'Neill. Stocha nóir tatu mar chus an tartá tú a ceapa má tá léir dul amach an taobh lína tá tú cearclóir ar far cúpla second. Níl tú le Stephen O'Neill tá sin an chasa mar sin agus é seola har.
Mather and Gaidig McCurry. Passan is draw Penrose. Penrose force ar nun see. Shelvach Mad Garen Guide. Sheerwick Shoot. Mark Donnelly ish. Harish Farish in Bertus Truro Kildare Feheblesh. Colm Cavendish Traston Hurt. McCarlan pass Ishla draw O'Neill pass Clote O'Neill Hodeshans are avoided will ta e Criachnahe good deal ar fad agus Cadé mar Criachnu ar Dere o Matty Donnelly.
Yeah, ach an cool an bug ó Stephen O'Neill tívis sé fine octave win na Parker Branner Stephen O'Neill agus é glurag an Lerold pass is Shachwig Matthew Donnelly agus Branner Shumar Craig is Jack Saleen Donnelly Fakata Mark Donnelly and Anna Craig o Matthew Donnelly.
Warwick O'Neill in ish Mainz in the stack Joe Johnny Doyle. Shab more around and son on Leroy. I didn't get deal or father Doyle of Wochent. Caddy in a show will check Kyle to get. Sir Dershay Hurley of Owen the Caddy. Sheerwick shoot a draw Kelly. Pass O'Kelly. O'Neill let's get dog. Will Fragrabin o Kildare. Agus Shin Fragrabra. O Kildare agus off. Darren McCurry Marsha on Globe Ed in the dark. Leshin get dog. Shin toast to good crane again. And we're cool. Having a Leshin Jamu, agus and son Desher Void O'Neill. While Kelly in ish. To get Esgale's core McNamee. Crib and Sheer Leshin Leroy. Warwick O'Neill in ish. Las Mud and Vroig. Bhfuil sé sin toistige deasige while sin scornú táilt ar fad ó Pádraig O'Neill.
Scóíonach an sin ó Pádraig O'Neill ar uaireanta Harlínte Sindit agus ar uaireanta ní Harlínte goite Brenner seo brasás de iirecht de ghlacha agus nóir hain sé thar an trasnan ba sé rála gachtainna bhar sé sin an tam sin beidir go maiid Janie.
Conor Gormley inis agus Emmett Bolt. Matthew Donnelly inis tinta go deasca ó scóir Kelly ha sé fós ar an ruair níos leis an gcétóg agus a ríist na chéanám ginión Kildare scóir bíonn freigra nach mar crín dí deasca Cathal McCarran siúd a Joe Broughton Johnny Doyle inis Shearer Joe Pádraig O'Neill in sé tríú pointe da héin agus tí Kildare in jobh joig Farlar na Páirce
Úsach Níl Cead sin dhéanamh bheith Conor Gormley agus an cinnig ceart a ríseán réitó.
Flaherty inis it duine bhisteach ar bhaid ar deire Animele ar scóir scóragan de Kildare and Sheon O'Flaherty.
Only two between them. Cribben went to ground, John Doyle runs across to gather possession. Now then, the ball into Paul Cribben. Chance of a goal here for Kildare, and it's a brilliant save, but surely the rebound, and it has been put to the back of the net. Paddy Brophy has the goal, but it was an amazing save initially from Niall Morgan. The ball broke out to Paddy Brophy, good finish. Unlucky, the Tyrone goalkeeper, but Brophy was alert. Second half underway. Kildare leading by a point as Aidan Cassidy comes away with the ball for Tyrone as they try and get something on the board through Martin Penrose. So Penrose, and that's a lovely point. Brilliant start to the second half. Pure class from Martin Penrose, and the teams are level. Stephen O'Neill into Aidan Cassidy, and there's a chance of a goal here, and it's finished brilliantly by Donnelly. It was a very good move. Stephen O'Neill into Cassidy, and a very, very fine finish from Mark Donnelly. Keeper got a hand to it, wasn't able to keep it out. Well, there's the challenge from Stephen O'Neill on Sean Hurley, which the Kildare management team and players weren't happy about. Now then, a bit of space in front of John Doyle. Still going forward, no support, but Doyle has found a gap. And Doyle's effort has gone over the bar, and that's a superb point from John Doyle, all of his own making. He must have ran 70 or 80 yards there. Gaps opened up in front of him, he went through those gaps, the angle was tight. That's a brilliant score. Another one forward. Sean Kavanagh battling with Peter Kelly. It's a great tussle between those two, and Sean Kavanagh going through. Great run, and a chance here, and that ball has been kicked over the bar by Conor McCalliskey. Aidan Cassidy back to Mark Donnelly again as Tyrone tried to work this one up. Matty Donnelly cuts inside, and that's a lovely point from Matty Donnelly. 1-2 to his name now. They were patient. Donnelly turned inside and struck a fine point. Stephen O'Neill. Good pass inside. Kavanagh, though, not able to get it. Well, Stephen O'Neill has it again. O'Neill on his right foot. Oh, that's a wonderful point. You can't give him a sniff, Stephen O'Neill. Here's Matty Donnelly towards Kavanagh. Good crossfield pass to Colm Kavanagh. And now a chance for McCalliskey. And that's another fine point from Conor McCalliskey. That's his second of the half since coming on as a sub at the interval. Now then,
let's go.
Kildare need to get something started. Here's Paul Cribben into O'Flaherty. Chance of a goal for Cribben, and Cribben gets it. Very good goal from Paul Cribben. Played a nice one too with Ono Flaherty, but was in the right place, and a neat finish. So the gap reduced to 2 as Paul Cribben adds a goal to his tally. Bit of a break on here for O'Neill. Support from Ollie Lyons, who has pace. In towards Alan Smith. Paddy Brophy. Brophy's effort has gone over the bar. And 1 point between them. Nice ball forward towards Stephen O'Neill. The bouncing ball didn't really favour him though, but he's able to get the ball and stay in, deceiving Kelly. Oh, wonderful dummy from Stephen O'Neill. This would be an amazing point. Well, you'll go a long way to see a better one from here to next September. Stephen O'Neill, look at this for a dummy. The dive was a bit of a dodgy one, but what an amazing point from Stephen O'Neill. Forward now to Conor McCalliskey. In towards Stephen O'Neill. Still jinking this way and that. The outside of the boot this time. Oh, well, that's 2 amazing points from Stephen O'Neill today. One from the right, one from the left. One with the instep, the other with the outside of the boot. Brilliant. Alan Smith, another high one into the square. Out came Niall Morgan. Sean Hurley has it. Callahan, McGrillen, Shawnee Johnston. They're trying to work this one in. Callahan again, a goal chance here for O'Neill, blocked down brilliantly. And that's it, the final whistle has been blown, and Tyrone are through to their first National League final since 2003. They win. The final score, Tyrone 2-15, Kildare 2-11.
So
Matty, a good day's work through to the
relief at the end up. You know, it looked like we were coasting for a while, but Kildare, you know, they're a super fit team. They're very well organised. They got that goal, came back in it, made it hard work for us in the end, but then you've seen the likes of Stevie and other players stepping up to take us over the line, you know, just relief.
In the first half, your own goal, we saw you take a little step in towards the goal, had to hit it with the outside of the boot. Lovely finish.
Well, I nearly got a nosebleed. I don't get in them positions often, but thankfully you kept your cool, you know, and picked the spot and went in, thank God.
All right, well, it's tusa leich na himmerha tá Donald Ballard and Sharka and Alliance. Leis an gradam of run earth, so cohortachas that. Well done, we'll see you back in the fortnight.
Míle mágat a bheith híl. Nádigí derúd fósa tacht an chlár a gcuine chorcaí. Dé bio bheith sin tacht cuaibh iarbheo ag fi cuaig treis a cuaig. Ach fósa tacht níos déanaí an darach lethe lechanis bleachlia a gcuine Mayo is sra Alliance fósa tacht ag ceruch na cap.
So much as you admire what Dublin have done in this league campaign, you can say see above for Tyrone as well this year.
Well, wasn't it worth the admission price alone just to see those 2 fantastic points by Stephen O'Neill? You know, 2 different points.
He's been some trooper over the years,
He has. I mean, look, form is temporary, class is permanent, and you give him a stiff of goal. He scored 4 today, 2 at the left, 2 at the right. Tyrone are certainly, you know, they were rebuilding last year, did all right in the championship, but were very poor against Kerry. This year, 1 defeat up to last Sunday against Kerry. They look impressive. The rebuilding is going well. It's going well. Now, the performance today was a bit like last Sunday's performance against Kerry. In the first half, from long spells of the first half, I thought they were poor. They didn't play with the intensity one normally associates with Tyrone teams. I thought Kildare were able to walk through their defence at times, and their centre field, not for the first time, of Sean Kavanagh and his brother Cullen were cleaned out. But in the second half, you know, they brought on Aidan Cassidy for the injured Peter Hart. They brought on Justin McMahon and they brought on young Conor McAllister, and that made a big difference. They increased the tempo, they increased the intensity, and everything that was good about Tyrone in the past was demonstrated in that second half.
One thing that they did do, Pat, was they made a good start to the first half, and then, maybe more crucially, they made a good start to the second half as well.
They did. I mean, This is Tyrone football at its best. Quick ball by Conor Gormley, and like I said about Stephen O'Neill, a great forward as a fellow. You give him a stiff a goal, he turns and he shoots. And this was 50 seconds later. Dermot Carlin, look, this is all about support play, playing at pace, and this is a wonderful finish by Matty Donnelly, the centre half back, who finished with 1-2. And again, this is another example. Just after half time, in the first minute after half time, Martin Penrose in over the bar, and 1 minute later, so this is in the second minute of the second half, Stephen O'Neill gets the ball again, support play onto the fella in a good position, Matt Donnelly, great score. Now I would say the Kildare goalie there, Mark Donlan, probably could have saved it. Kildare will feel aggrieved. I think Stephen O'Neill shoulder charged on a young Hurley, and it should have been a free out, but it was Tyrone's football. It's possession, pace, support play, clinical finishing.
But there's another aspect of the game, Pat. You know, how many times on talked about Kildare not maybe getting the scores to build on some of the good play that they've had, and there was a bit of that as well today.
I feel sorry to be highlighting this because I felt their forward line had improved this year with the addition of the under-21s and Shawnee Johnson, but you know, they kicked 9 first half wides. This was from the normally reliable John Dial. You know, it was a wrong shot option, he was off balance. Again, same Niall Kelly, who's had a good season, had a poor game today, again a poor finish. And we go on to the second half then, where they were trying to get back into the game. Paddy Brophy, you know, a tentative shot into Morgan's hands. You know, then Shawnee Johnson gets the ball. Again, another tentative shot into the goalie's hands. Now, like I said, I thought young Flynn and young Kelly, who've been brilliant all year, the under-21s, they had a poor game today. I mean, in the second half, and this is the problem with Kildare, when Tyrone raised the tempo and raised the intensity, particularly in defence, and got the bodies back, Kildare's attack struggled to get through that mass defence. The statistics speak for itself. In the second half, Kildare got 3 points from play, Johnny Dial got 2, and the only other point scored was in the 33rd minute by Paddy Brophy. So the big problem with Kildare is I think they're going to struggle with those mass defences of the Tyrones, of the Donegals.
All right, thanks then to Pat Spillane, who has joined us here for our football chat here on the programme tonight. We are going to take another break here on League Sunday, but when we come back, it's hurling.